to hear from our next speaker, Dave Vrudny. He's our immediate past president, and he's going to be talking about the Heritage Foundation's plan for Social Security.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our wonderful guests. I'm so excited to see so many wonderful guests here today. Thank you so much for coming. Do you know what the largest single program in the federal government is today? What is it? Social Security. Social Security. And each year, 60 million Americans receive Social Security. 60 million people. And they receive it really for one of three purposes. Think about it. Either you're a retiree, you're collecting income to supplement the rest of your life, or you're a worker who, for whatever reason, you're no longer able to work. You're disabled. I mean, imagine being disabled and not being able to go in for a job. How are you going to earn money? That's where Social Security fills that gap. Or if you're a family member of somebody that is a worker, like a spousal worker, not worker's disabled, so then now you can get that money, or that worker dies. So it's a supplemental income for a survivor benefit. So 60 million people every year depend on Social Security. Think how important it is. If you have no other source of income, this is sort of the bedrock to allow Americans to have money so they can live. In the next few minutes, you're going to hear about the Heritage Plan's recommendation for saving Social Security, because according to them, it's unsustainable. My own opinion, I might have some differences in the plan, but you're going to decide that for yourself. I'm going to present the plan as forcefully as I can, and as Will said, it's really your decision. As both Will said, you decide that for yourself. But let's look at unsustainability. Is Social Security sustainable? Think about it. Is it sustainable? Will shaking his head. Roger's kind of quizzical. But think about it. Is it really sustainable? And I did some research on this. I read the whole plan, and it's really interesting if you read the plan on the internet. It talks about the fact that in 2010, think about this, in 2010, the first time ever, Social Security went into the red. It's never been in the red before, meaning that there's actually less money that's being taken in the payroll tax, which is used to fund Social Security, than actually being used, that's being collected. So more money is being spent on Social Security benefits than what's being taken in by the federal government. That's not good, right? I mean, imagine you're only earning $3,000 a month, but having $5,000 in bills every month. How could you sustain that? That's sort of the problem right now with Social Security. It's unsustainable. And you've probably heard the nonpartisan CBO, the Congressional Budget Office. They're saying this is not just a one-time thing in 2010. This is going to go on for at least the next 75 years, and maybe well beyond that. So is that sustainable? Is it sustainable? No, it's not sustainable. Now, you're going to be receiving a chart right now. It's going to be passed around. I think we might be one or two short. You might have to share. But you can see in this chart the explosion in spending in our government. It's exploding off the chart. And not only is Social Security on that chart, you can see Medicare and Medicaid as a percentage of our GDP. It's like a rocket ship. It's a hockey stick. It's off the chart, and you can see how unsustainable these programs are. You might think, well, why don't we just raise taxes? Do we need to raise taxes right now? Is that something we want to raise taxes? If we could raise taxes. That could fix the problem. But do we want to leave our children and grandchildren with huge taxes to clean up the mess that we're leaving our country with? The Heritage Foundation thinks, no, we can actually solve this problem without raising any taxes. Doesn't that sound good? No tax increases, yet with these measures we could save the program. Now here's the first measure. We need to scale back benefits to the wealthy. I'm going to ask you a question. Think about this. Does LeBron James need Social Security? I think that's sort of the question of that's what this is coming down to. We have to do some needs testing. Donald Trump ain't needing Social Security. He doesn't need, right, Hannah? He does not need Social Security. It's not, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. What the Heritage Plan is saying is that if you're making $55,000, you're going to receive a smaller check. If you're making $110,000 or more, you're receiving no check. We're going to start to scale back benefits to the wealthy. The second proposal, we need to raise the retirement age. Social Security was founded in 1935 under FDR. People lived about 62 years. That was the average lifespan. You know how long people are living now? It's about 78 years. People are living 16 years longer. Does it make sense to have a program back in the 1930s with the same pay scale as in 2011? No, because people are living so much longer. The program was never designed for that. So that program is unsustainable. So what we need to do is we need to raise the retirement age from 65 to 68 because people are living longer, and we need to account for that with the program. The next provision of the plan, we need to encourage people to stay in the workforce longer. The longer people work, the more Social Security payroll taxes the government's going to receive. And what the Heritage Plan is saying, why don't we do this? We'll give you, if you work beyond the 65, we'll give you a $10,000 tax deduction. Regardless of your income, making $10,000 a year, you're going to get a $10,000 tax deduction for every year that you work beyond 65. How does that sound? I think it's 65. Actually, I need to double check. It might be 68 because I think Heritage changes it. I need to double check it. But beyond what they call the full retirement age, I don't know if it's 65. I think it's 68 actually. I'll double check it for you. And I'll quickly go through these other provisions. Just 3 more. The next provision, they want to transition to a flat benefit. Because right now, do you know what your Social Security, what you're going to make every year in Social Security? No one knows. You don't know. It's too complicated. It's so complicated, I figure. But the Heritage is saying, let's simplify it. So everyone can plan out what they're going to make. Then you can know, well, what do I need in pension or 401k and other plans? The Heritage is saying $1,200 is what you're going to get. $1,200 once a month. Flat benefit. We also need to have a supplemental savings plan. Social Security currently is double taxed. This is a new plan. It's like an IRA 401k. It would be in addition to your Social Security. We'd set this up for you. It's like an individual retirement account, but it wouldn't be taxed doubly like your current Social Security payments are. So in summary, we need to fix Social Security. We need to do something about this. We can't sustain this anymore. And we certainly don't want to leave our children and grandchildren with a huge tax. We need to clean up our own mess, and now's the time to do it. Let's take some action and get this done, Mr. Toastmaster.